post-Thanksgiving, and Michigan enjoys themselves as they feast on Xavier in the Wolverines' most impressive game of the year. How about that? Yeah, Michigan is the 2024 Fort Myers tip-off champs. Here on the day before Thanksgiving, Michigan comes out and plays their most complete game of the year. They down number 22 Xavier by 25 points. 78-53 is the final. And welcome in. We're here after every Michigan basketball game, including right before Thanksgiving. And Michigan, right from the jump down there in Florida, looked good. And Michigan, through their first 5 games, they first 6 games, when you looked at Danny Wolf and Vlad Goldin, you wondered, well, can these guys play together? What do you think of everyone? Myself, I was looking at each individual player, and I thought all of the players were playing well, with the exception I wanted more from Vlad Goldin and Danny Wolf. And both of those guys, right from the jump, played well together. And then they played well when they were on the floor, when they were separated. That's something to think about if you're Dusty May, how you want to deploy those guys. And then in the end, those guys combined for 48 points and 19 boards. And Danny Wolf was remarkable, very impressive. And if Danny Wolf and Vlad Goldin both play like this, Michigan's definitely making the tournament, and Michigan will vie for the Big Ten crown. I think if you get this kind of performance from one of these guys, you're thinking about this team being an NCAA tournament team. That's how good they look tonight. You're not going to get that all the time, but once you see it flash like this is something that that they have in them. And I didn't know if they would have it in them. Now, they all have to work as a group, and getting better as they gel together. But, the turnover issue was not an issue tonight. They only had 4 at the half, and it was actually the shoe was on the other foot. Xavier, which had been very good in all of their wins, they were undefeated coming into tonight. They had taken care of the ball really well, and they didn't. Michigan forcing 14 turnovers at the half. That's how many Xavier had. So nice job by the Maize and Blue. And I want to talk a little bit more about Goldin and Wolf. But if you missed this one and you want to know everything that went on, well, let's just catch you up to speed on just how it went down in game number 7 on the year down there by the beaches, the Gulf of Mexico, Fort Myers, the Fort Myers tip-off tonight. And in the first game, it was against Virginia Tech. Tonight, Xavier and the Musketeers checked in at number 22 in the top 25 with an undefeated record. And yet the odds makers had Michigan favored by 1.5 points. They knew something. Those guys, they knew something tonight. But it was the story of Danny Wolf and Vlad Goldin. They looked good from the start. Danny Wolf had 16 of his 20 points at the half, and he was dialing it in from downtown, where he made 4 of 5 threes. He was also diving to the bucket, working the pick and roll. And, let's see, with the assist, 3 assists there for Danny Wolf, the good passer, the big man, the 7-footer, showing it all, everything that he could do. The only person that was more impressed by Danny Wolf than Michigan fans was the announcer, Donnie Marshall, who I've never seen an announcer. It's like Donnie Marshall's last name was Donnie Wolf. He just, he called himself a Danny Wolf apologist the other night, Tonight, he said he was, the leader of the Danny Wolf fan club. I mean, he just couldn't effusive in his praise. Look, if I'm not a Xavier fan, but if I was, I would say, get this guy off the broadcast. I mean, could he stop fawning over Danny Wolf? But Wolf deserved the plaudits tonight by the way he played. He looked good. Michigan looked like they were going to blow him off the floor in the first half, up by as many as 17 in the first 20 minutes, but they settled for an 11-point lead at the break, and a little push there by Xavier that Michigan will talk about if they, the coaches are always going to look for something. I think they'll look at the last few sequences, certainly the last possession where Michigan could have taken the last shot, and they didn't, and, Xavier was able to get something out of it. They want to address that, and they will. Talk about that, but I already mentioned the turnovers. Michigan just having 4 turnovers at the break and only ending up with 10 is a season best for this group. And Xavier did get it down to single digits early in the second half, and then they with 7 left, around 7 left, they got it down to 8, and then LJ Cason hit a big 3. I'd say the biggest 3 of the game at that point, got Michigan's lead back up to double figures, and then it never dipped below there. In fact, they just kept adding to their lead at that point, and Michigan wins it, and they are 6-1 on the season. And now you start thinking about that top 25 might be U of M that's getting the votes and getting in the top 25 for Dusty May's crew. And again, you watch, if this was the first game you watched all year long, you'd say, oh, Michigan's definitely an NCAA tournament team. Very impressive. Boy, they look good. This was their best game of the year. And Matt's saying he loved the Beat Ohio chants. Derek, who's been here all year long on these Michigan postgame shows, he says, great performance tonight. Amazing what happens when you cut down the turnovers. Love the way these guys are improving every game. I'm right there with you. Look at Michael, excited about the way Michigan played tonight. He's got the basketballs and the maize and blue hearts and the thumbs up. He's all about it. Here's the M. Not good. I don't know if I can do the M. Not good at that. 2 W's, just flip it down, something like that. There it is. And let's see, MB saying, keep playing like this will be tough to beat. No question about that. Way to go for the maize and blue. Look at all the people that are excited about Michigan basketball. And that's it. And the crowd, I heard the crowd beat Ohio. They were giving Xavier the serenade of overrated at the end, all of that. Yeah. Hey, if you're down at Fort Myers and you've been on the beach all day, I mean, you got the day before Thanksgiving. I don't know if people know this. Some people tend to grab a libation or two on Thanksgiving Eve, biggest bar night of the year. My wife calls it biggest amateur night of the year, but everybody, coming back from college and heading out to the bar. You don't have to get up and work unless you're the one that's responsible for cooking all the food. Maybe then you do. But nonetheless, it is a big bar night. People do love to go out and have a little fun. And Matthew talking about the upcoming schedule. We're going to get to that upcoming schedule. And Matt, it's a great reminder. Why don't we just go do that right now as Matt is reminding me about what's happening here with U of M looking ahead. This is their last game of the month, so they'll turn the calendar. Hey, we're turning up the promotion, and with everything that's going on with recruiting, both football and basketball, Dusty May is looking to add to the 25 class. Also, what's going on the football side, and the Maize and Blue Review right now, heading into the holiday season, is offering up $25 for 1 year. Use the promo code QBU25. That's QBU25. $25 for your first year. Offer valid for a limited time. And as we look at that upcoming schedule, it's brought to you by the Good Afternoon Michigan Football and Basketball Show here on this very feed that you're watching right now at 2 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and this Black Friday. Well, here is the schedule. Taking a look at it. And Michigan now will get those two. Remember, they've over the last few years, they've moved a couple conference games up into the non-conference slate. And this is how it looks. Michigan plays Xavier tonight. And now coming up on Tuesday, December the 3rd, they will be in Madison taking on the undefeated Wisconsin Badgers. So that'll be a rough one for Michigan, tipping up conference play. And then they'll come back home for their Big Ten home opener on Saturday the 7th. And I was off to a nice start there. And then you got John Calipari's team. Michigan will be taking on Arkansas. They're ranked in the top 25. And then it will be the Jumpman Invitational. Oklahoma hasn't lost at this point, at least yet. And so you just look at the records here. 7-0 Wisconsin, 6-1 Iowa, 5-1 Hogs from Arkansas, and 5-0 Sooners from Oklahoma. What would be a good, I think if you split these four, would I take that right now? Well, let's see. They've got the Iowa game at home. And the Jumpman, that is down in Carolina, so that's not home. And they'll be at Arkansas and at Wisconsin. Yeah, I would take a win against Iowa and a win against Oklahoma, and then a likely loss against Wisconsin and Arkansas. I would take that right now. But 2-2, I think you're doing all right. You watch Michigan tonight, you say, I'm not settling for 2-2. Michigan can win 3 out of 4, if not all 4 of those games. And I'm not here to tell anybody that can't happen. Go with it. Let's do it. We got, look at Go Blue. Go Blue 1084 says this is a top 15 team. MB's talking about forget 2-2. Take all 4. Andres not accepting the deal either on this Thanksgiving Eve. No, he's not taking a 2-2 if offered right now. He wants to see them all. So that's it. Yeah, I do think that they will be ranked coming up when the top 25 comes out. Why not? I mean, looking pretty. Why not? I guess I'd have to look through the whole thing, but I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah. Let's go through the numbers and anything that jumped out individually from anybody else. Danny Wolf, the player of the game, 20 points, 14 boards, 20 and 14. Woo! Will he play another game like tonight? Coming out party, the Wolf of State Street goes off. 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 5 from downtown. How about making a free throw? There you go, Danny. You got a little bit of something to work on, but an awesome game from D. Wolf. Vlad Goldin as well. That's more like it from the big man. Vlad Goldin, and you could say, yeah, the Musketeers had a smaller front line. Of course, they're going to pound the ball low down to Vlad Goldin. He's 7-1. And so it makes sense to put him down there and get his hand up and get his back to the basket. And you're right. You're absolutely right. I liked it. I saw him down there, and he looked pretty good down there. His ability down low around the basket to finish and be strong and play with some grit is going to be a big key for U of M. But I liked what I saw from Vlad Goldin. He's a bit of a finesse 7-1 guy, which isn't a bad thing. But, if you can add some grit, finesse in that he can get up to the mid post and even all the way up to the elbow, and he can roll, and he can catch and throw it down, but he can also catch and put it on the floor and make a layup. He's pretty athletic that way. Like what you see, the way they can maneuver him around. But then when you got a 7-1 guy, get out of the way, put him in the box, put his hand up down low, throw it into him, let him turn and cook. And he did that tonight, and I like to see that. Trey Donaldson, he had some highlight reel plays in this one. He went up for a big-time jam and got fouled. He made another one, contorting his body, throwing it up off the glass, looking pretty good. 13, 3 and 3 for Trey. Roddy Gale Jr., he had the big night last game. This game, not so much. Just 6 points, no boards, and 1 assist. He took a hard spill in this game as well. But it's not like across the board everybody was tremendous, just like Namari Burnett. It's probably his low totals of the season with just 5 points. Did have 2 rebounds. How about 7 assists for Namari Burnett? Off the bench, LJ Kayson. Remember, I said I thought he hit the biggest 3 of the game when there was 7 minutes to go and Michigan was just up 8. He buried the 3 and Michigan didn't look back. Nice job from the freshman who played 15 minutes and had 8 points, 2 boards, and a feed. Cheddar, the fan favorite, both of his buckets were pretty sweet, leaning in, making plays, but just 4, 6, and 2 for Cheddar. Sam Walters just didn't have it tonight. A little off balance. Just they were crowding him. He's got the pure shot. There are going to be some games, mark my words, that you're going to see, 4 of 6, 4 of 7 from downtown, double figures. I would think maybe even a game, he's got a 20-point game in, but just the way he could shoot it. You get him open and get him dialed in and look for him. I can see big nights ahead for Sam Walter. Reuben Jones is the one that you want to see a little bit more from if you're looking. And then the other 2 freshmen, Pippen didn't play, and Fat just got in right at the end for a little bit of burn. So he's able to get in and take a shower before they get on the plane. And I don't know how you celebrate a Fort Myers tip-off championship, but hey, a day before Thanksgiving, these guys, I would say, give them Thanksgiving off, coach, and get them back in on Friday for some light work. They got some, let them study and all those kind of things, spend some time with the family. And a lot of those guys, a couple of those guys, Donaldson, we know Goldin was in Florida. Kayson is from Florida. So going back, and I know FAU's on the Atlantic Ocean side, so 2.5 hours by car or whatever, but close enough, when you're down there and you spend some time in the Sunshine State. Now, the thing that will be interesting, and I'm sure the next time the media has an opportunity to ask Dusty May strategy, lineup stuff, will be, what do you think about splitting Wolf and Goldin up? And May was already asked about that, and he said, "Well, look, 2 7-footers. It's we don't have a lot of data on these guys playing together. With only a game or 2 in. He's got a little bit more now, and they were very impressive at the beginning. And actually, they played off of one another. They were running a pick and roll. The 2 7-footers. Wolf can handle and he can pass, and Goldin's pretty athletic, like we talked about, but." I think you do both. If you're asking me, you say, "No, I want an answer." That is the answer. The answer is when you have 2 guys like that they're in the starting 5. I think they will stay that way. But yeah, the ability to split them up gives you a different look, and that's what you are trying to achieve if you're a team throwing different looks that can help you and complicate things for a defense. And you have them out there together. They have a set of you are challenged if you don't have a guy who can get out, because we know Danny Wolf's going to play out by the perimeter. You put somebody that's 6'8" on him, and Wolf's just not standing out there stationary shooting threes. He's down and up from 23, 24 feet. And as a 7-footer, you can just you got that kind of range from 23, 24 feet out. That's what he has shown. That's a huge asset that you're bringing to the table. It's like you look at some of these NBA teams that they can have their bigs at 7 feet stand out there and shoot threes. That spreads the floor. That's spray and pray. That's, 5 out at times if Goldin isn't in there, and then you can play off of those too. So that's the answer. I don't think I would say it's not about let's bring Danny Wolf off the bench or let's bring Vlad Goldin off the bench. No, start them both, and then you can split them up, and you go from there and how it works. So that's how I see it. Let's go ahead and take some last feedbacks here, and then we will baste that turkey one last time and get ready for tomorrow. Let's see. MB says, if not, definitely after the Wisconsin, the Badger and Hawkeye wins, talking about getting in the top 25. Maize and Blue lover, great win tonight. This team absolutely deserves to be ranked next week. There you go. Andres was very surprised with this performance. He follows Xavier every year, and they're outclassed most of their opponents. This Michigan team can be really impressive. It's an impressive feedback from you, Andres. Eric says he was at the game. Xavier fans were annoying as blank and glad we spanked them. I didn't notice the Xavier crowd. I mean, they were down most of the game, double figures, until they had that little push in the first half and then once or twice in the second half. But I guess it makes sense. They cross their arms, and that's their thing, their X thing. And so I was a little bit more annoyed by Donnie Marshall blowing Wolf every chance that he got. Been crying Wolf, but he loves them. So what can you say? And, we like Michigan, so it didn't annoy us as much as if we were Musketeer fans. Matthew says LJ Kayson is going to be really good as he develops every game. I agree. I like him. I like his game. He's already got a Big Ten body, and he can shoot and drive. There's not a lot to not like about him. And here it is. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Wisconsin is on the clock. Talking about staying in Florida because the women play there tomorrow. Look at that. Knows the Michigan schedule. I like that. And finally, MB says teams are going to struggle to defend the 2 7-footers on the floor at one time. That's the idea. That is going to be the idea. Well, that's going to do it here tonight. I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm ready to get after it. I'm going to try to get out and get some fresh air tomorrow, and then see if I can help out with any of the dinner. Got about double figures coming through tomorrow, so we get a lot going on. But get some of that fresh air in the morning at 12:30. Once the football starts with the Lions, and so many years past. In the years past, you'd look at the Lions game as a point of contention and disappointment, and it's anything but tomorrow. It's going to be an odd one, but an enjoyable one. So that's the way to go. I've had some turducken before. I thought it was overrated. My brother, his wife made it one year, and they put a lot of work into stringing the turkey and all that together, and it was. It's tough to cook all 3 with the consistency and everything else. So I would not, if you're thinking about doing that. But it was a one-time. It was a one-off. They tried it. It was nice to try to mix it up, to tell you the truth. And you never do it again. But there you go. Somebody mentions it. And I got the experience to say I tried it. So enjoy yourself tomorrow. I will talk with you on Friday at 2:00, and then Saturday after the Michigan-Ohio State game. Yeah, I was I wasn't feeling really good about Michigan's chances on Saturday. I don't know, maybe it's a little basketball, or maybe the anticipation of tomorrow. Now I'm, starting to think, okay, So we are in the year of anything can happen in sports. The Tigers showed us that. So that's what Sharon Moore and company have going for them. Everybody enjoy themselves. Talk to you coming up on Friday, Saturday, or certainly after the next Michigan basketball game. The final tonight, 78-53, Michigan wins it, and they are sitting now as they move to 6-1 on the season. And ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at a top 25 team, I would think, come Monday. Take care.